Field of 68 After Dark. Hello and welcome to the Tuesday evening edition of the Field of 68 After Dark. My name is Rob Dauster. I have Terrence Oglesby with me. I have Jeff Goodman with me. I am live here in Madison Square Garden, where we just witnessed UConn knock off Florida 77-73. Florida is a really interesting team, and we have a conversation about what they are going to be this season. They have 3 losses on the year by 11 points to 3 of the 5 best teams in college basketball. I think there's a lot to like about this Florida team despite the loss. We're definitely going to get to the UConn angle of this. But the story of the night here in Madison Square Garden, guys, the star of the night, the biggest name that we saw tonight was a potential number 1 pick, and a guy, T.O., that I think thrust himself right into the conversation as the potential number 1 overall pick, and maybe more than just potential with his performance tonight. Dybantsa, 28 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. BYU comes from 22 points down to, I'm sorry to say this, knock off your Clemson Tigers, 67-64. What'd you make of AJ's performance? What'd you make of this game?
That game came down to we have AJ Dybantsa and Clemson does not. That's what that game came down to. Some of the shot making that he had throughout the course of the game was absurd. 22 points on 7-11 of 11 shooting. Didn't hit at 3, but it's like he was able to get wherever he wanted to go on the floor. Yeah, Tracy McGrady. He can get the spots, and I actually liked it in our group chat, Rob. You talked about, well, he could be a rangier Carmelo. The way he operates is similar. Loves the mid-range, would prefer to be closer to the rim. But, man, that second half was all his all the time. 22 points, 7 boards, 5 assists. He was just acting on a different level. I like the number 1 pick that he, after tonight, has me thinking he will be. I'm actually not mad at how Clemson performed in this one. The weird part about it is they play BYU in New York. They lose the game, and they go up a spot in KenPom. They'll probably go up a spot in the net rankings. So you look at what they were able to do, get that big lead, and it's part of the process for them. They're very much on the better side of the bubble in my mind. But BYU today, Robert Wright, AJ Dybantsa, Keita played awesome. This was a game where both of those teams showed well, but it just had one team had the number 1 overall pick coming in.
Yeah. Jeff?
You know, he's always been in the equation for the number 1 overall pick, and I think this is what we're going to do over the course of the season, right? I mean, we're going to go back and forth between A.J. Dybantsa and Darren Peterson. We haven't seen a lot of Darren Peterson in the last few weeks. A.J. has been on a national stage. Peterson missed out on his national stage out in Vegas. So AJ, we've seen him for years. I mean, his upside is ridiculous, and his production is starting to match that upside. There's things he can do that very few players can do in the NBA right now. I mean, you look at some of those pro moves that he had in the lane tonight, incredible. And he gets to the lane, gets to the basket and gets to the line, virtually whenever he wants, especially against a team like Clemson that doesn't have anybody that can match up with him. But again, love his will in the second half. Wish he would be a little bit more aggressive to start out these games so they wouldn't be coming from, 15 or 22 back. But again, he was exceptional tonight. And I think he loves these bright lights of both gardens.
The Boston Garden was where he wasn't able to complete that comeback. I think, Tio, I think that you kind of said it best, man, where we knew what he was as a scorer, right? I think what stood out to me was, one, the level of effort and intensity we saw on the defensive end of the floor. Like, he's got the length and athleticism to be like a potential all-NBA defender kind of a guy, I think, at the next level. But then when you combine that with some of the passes that he threw, he had more assists in the second half than Clemson did. He had more points in the second half than Clemson did, and he had as many field goals in the second half as Clemson did. Like, I thought that his ability to get everybody else involved, we knew about the scoring part. I didn't know he had that part in his game.
Yeah, there was one pass that he made. He drove middle. He drove middle. Carter Welling tried to come up on the wrong side, and he dished it off with his left hand super quick. And it was like that play right there was a microcosm of everything that was happening. He drew so much attention after hitting some of these spin baseline shots over the top that basically the game opened up for him from an assist perspective. But I mean, you talk about the length, you talk about the athleticism, you talk about the ability to get to spots. The crazy part to me was when he went down the lane for that dunk, his elbow was well above the rim. And then on top of the fact that I thought out of those 22 points, I thought Clemson on 14 of them played as good a position defense as they could. Like Jake Walleen is 6'9" and strong. He's not quite quick enough to stay in front. Butta Johnson's 5 inches shorter. So it's like he has to play good position defense. If I'm analyzing it from the other side, not only did he have a great game, but Clemson was playing a couple of freshmen. There were some young puppies in there in that game whenever BYU was making that run. They couldn't right the ship. They couldn't settle down to get some of these good possessions, and Clemson quit going in the post in the second half. The other thing that stood out to me, Keita looks massive. Dybantsa is taller. It didn't hit me that he was taller than him. He's substantially taller than him. And Keba looks like the largest human to ever walk on hardwood. Like, it's crazy. And Dybantsa's that much bigger than him. So, hey, look, this is a big win for BYU. And Kevin Young said it in the locker room. Sometimes you just got to find a way. BYU, the Cougs, found a way. Because, I mean, it wasn't pretty, but they rode their back of their superstar. This is why you pay big bucks for a guy like that to win games in Madison Square Garden. He earned his paycheck.
Yeah, Tio, I want to ask you, because you've been in locker rooms like that. How do you avoid these slow starts? Like, this is not the first time that BYU's dug themselves a big hole. They did the same thing against UConn and Boston. They've done it before. How do you, as a coach, as a player, find a way to be able to get going like that? Like, they played in the second half. Should they just make the score be 15-0 when it starts? Like, just say, go ahead, take 15 points. We need to find a way to be able to get motivated.
I think you do. You beat some of those streaks by not focusing on the scoring. You focus on the other end of the floor, because that's a lot of times how you can find your rhythm. You saw A.J. Dybantsa, how much more locked in he was on the defensive end to start the second half, and his offense followed suit. That's typically what happens. You get a couple of good defensive possessions, guys are feeling good, you can get out and run a little bit. The lanes to attack are a little bit more open because guys, whenever they're retreating from a bad shot or a missed shot, they get a little bit more glued to their guy, so you're going to be able to find some opportunities. That's where I would lean into your defense, coming from a guy who never played defense, but lean into your defense the other side of the floor to where you're just kind of rolling into things, and some of these opportunities come a little bit easier.
Yep. Goodman, where does
the boys, Rob? I remember saying this at the UConn game in Boston. Was, you would have thought how rattled he would have been coming into the second half. You're home. You had a miserable first half. You're playing UConn. It's a UConn heavy crowd. And he kind of regrouped, right? And came out in the second half and did a great job. Again, similar situation here, right? I mean, you're down 22. You did not have a great first half. And the one thing that has really surprised me is like how even keeled this dude is in terms of his emotions. Not to get, too caught up, too up and down with kind of, you don't really see it in his face, right? Like, you don't see the frustration in the first half. And then even when he gets like going, he's not hunting. Like, he didn't hunt. Like you said, Rob, he could have forced it. And what did he do? He let the game come to him, and he made some great passes.
So I think the one thing I'll push back on there is I think that when he does have a habit of hunting shots, and I think that is when he is not at his best. Like, we saw that in the first half against UConn. He was really hunting his shots. I think we saw it a little bit in the first half tonight, which is why he got off to a little bit of that slow start, right? When he is aggressive without being aggressive to try to score first. Does that make sense, Jeff? Like, I feel like that's when he's at his best.
Yeah, I guess I'm talking more of the mental part of it. I guess that's what I'm talking about from him, and the poise and the maturity that he has as much as anything. And I still think there's a lot of guys out there that would be hunting a lot more than he is, that would be playing for that number one pick a lot more than he is. I don't think that's the case. And again, I think at the end of the game, it showed the maturity of kind of letting the game come to him and playing that well-rounded game and trusting his teammates.
Yep. We were able to catch up with A.J. Dybantsa after the game. We talked to him. 28 points. Well, we'll get to that here in in just a second. Yeah. All right, so now we are ready because Dagan just finally did his job. Let's get to that interview with AJ Dybantsa. Now let me welcome onto the field of 68 after dark. AJ Dybantsa, the star of the night, 30 points, 22 of them in the second half today in Madison Square Garden. Man, you guys came back from 22 points down. How'd you do it?
I mean, we're just playing with more pace. I think first half we came out sluggish. I think we got down 20, but I mean we got to up the pace and play at our own pace. And I think we're a way better team than how we've been playing in the first half.
How do you start that early on? How do you guys get going in the first half? Because there's been a couple times we've gotten down early.
I think it's just a mentality. I think that's really it. Like just being mentally prepared going into the game and like just setting the tone, not letting people set the tone on us.
One of the things that your staff was saying is that they want to see you getting aggressive more early, individually, being able to take advantage of it. KY was talking about how you're going baseline a little bit too much. How do you develop that in yourself and be able to get yourself going where you want to go?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's kind of just like don't let the defense dictate what I want to do. Obviously, if I want to get to the middle, I should get to the middle. Or with my skill set, not let the defense just bait me into bad shots.
Well, one of the guys that we've heard you kind of compared to a lot is Tracy McGrady. I don't know if you've heard that. And he was sitting. Did you see him sitting courtside on the baseline?
Yeah, I seen him.
What do you think of that comparison?
I like it. I actually been ever since I heard it, I've been studying him, and I kind of see like the resemblance.
Where are you studying him? Because I know you weren't alive when he was playing.
On YouTube. YouTube's damn near like a time machine. You can see anything from back in the day.
One of the things that have kind of dominated the talk about college basketball this year is the freshman class, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like people have kind of said Darren Peterson feels like might be the number one pick. Cam Boozer's in that conversation. Do you feel like you kind of put everyone on notice tonight, like, hey, don't forget about me?
I mean, it's not really that. I mean, they're great players. I'm going to just play my game every night, and then we go see the deciding factor whenever the draft comes up. I mean, I'm going to bet on myself, obviously, to be the best player I can be. I'm going to bet on myself. If you ask me who do I think is going to be the number one pick, I'm going to pick myself. But they're great players, and they deserve that.
When you have a performance like this, in a building like this, in an environment like this, 18,000 people, that's what you dream about growing up, right?
Exactly.
Is this the real Garden, or is Boston Garden the real Garden?
I'm going home. TD, for sure.
Who bought your dad's suit today?
He did. Yeah, he can dress clearly. I think every NBA arena we went to, he's been wearing a suit. He's been trying to pop it.
Can you give me a style rating on him? Who's got the better style, you or your dad?
And in terms of suits, he does. I'm gonna let him style me for draft. I told him I'll let him do that.
He's got that? That's a lot of pressure, man.
No, it's not for him. He's from Congo and stuff like that, and that's how they dress. Like if you go to Congo and like you go to weddings, they all trim.
So Robert Wright had the game-winning shot tonight, right? What does it mean that you have a supporting cast that can kind of go out and make a shot like that in a moment like that?
It makes it way easier. Like it relieves less pressure off of me. When you have other guys, me, Rob, Richie, it's just like a big three. It's very hard for teams to stop us. Appreciate you, buddy.
What's the one thing that has to happen for BYU to be able to get to a Final Four, compete for a national championship?
Play good in the first half. I think the tougher the competition gets when conference play comes, we can't be coming out that sluggish.
AJ, I appreciate it, man. That dude is definitely comfortable in front of a camera, man. What has to happen? Play good in the first half. T.O., before we flip this, I do want to ask you a little bit about the Clemson side because I was actually really impressed with them. I want both you guys to answer this. You got 30 seconds each. BYU is where in terms of the national title contenders? Do you think they're right there with some of the best teams in the country? Are they that next tier down? Is this a team that can go and win 6 games in March?
Tier 2 can certainly win 4 games in March. That's kind of where I'm at. I think because of the style of play and the fact that they have so many guys that can score, they have the physicality, they have the size to compete with anybody on a given night. I think this is a team that can win 4 games in March and make it to Indianapolis because they have that star power, they have the size, they have enough depth, provided that none of their big 3 gets hurt. I think this BYU team is Final Four capable. I've said that about 8 to 10 teams. BYU is in that mix, probably in that second tier. I think they could certainly make that.
Jeff?
I mean, let's not go crazy here about a win over the Clemson Tigers on a neutral court. No. And I saw Clemson. I saw them a week and a half ago in Charleston barely beat Georgia. And I'm not sure either one of those.
Georgia's 23rd in Kim Palm. Hold on, Jeff.
I'm just saying.
Like, I appreciate what you're doing right now. I appreciate what you're doing.
I'm being honest.
But
I'm not trying to rile you up.
But
I'm not trying to push any buttons here.
You are. But here's the thing. Clemson's a top 25 team. They're a top 25 team in Kim Palm. With the loss tonight, they went up a spot. Explain to me how that happens, because I don't know. Another thing is in the first half they were scoring, they could set their defense. That's why they were able to go on a 21-0 run, because if they play in the half court, defensively they're going to be really good, and they're going to be able to compete. Do I think Clemson is like last year where they can make – I don't think they're that good. I do think – or 2 years ago when they make it to an Elite Eight, I don't think they're that. I do think this is a tournament team, and to be able to come back from 22 points down – I think is significant. And I'm not talking about a 5-6. I'm talking 8, 9, 10, somewhere in that range. They will be one of the last few teams in. I think it's a good team. I don't think it's a great team. But to come back from 22 down and to be able to control the game and then actually get some stops, that's what changed it, because Clemson is able to set their defense. They're a problem. They weren't able to set their defense because BYU turned it up on the defensive end.
Yeah, I was actually pleasantly surprised with Clemson.
Listen.
Brad Brunell team, they're always going to run their stuff. They're always going to be tough defensively.
But I will say this. Name your wager, T.O. Name your wager. We'll think about it here. And we'll go tournament or not on that wager. Because I don't.
So you don't think Clemson makes it? Okay.
I do not.
We'll think about it. I think it's close. I think they're right at that cut line. But I think they get it.
I think they'll probably be in the bubble. Yeah, I could see them being in the bubble. And I think this was a major missed opportunity. I know you say they went up a spot. Well,
but that's what the metrics are now.
8 spots.
Here's going to be the hard thing for them is if you look at their ACC schedule, they get, I believe it is Duke once, Louisville once, and North Carolina once. They have to play at Duke. Then they're at Wake Forest the game after that. Then it's Louisville. Then they're at North Carolina. It's 3 of their last 5 games are going to be those 3. They have to win a lot of games early on in ACC play to set themselves up.
Hold on. If you looked at the most recent net rankings, which is where we're at, the ACC has 7 teams in the top 50 of the net. They have 8 teams in the top 62 of the net. So if we're going to continue saying this, where the ACC is better, the ACC is better, those things matter in terms of opportunities for the big dance.
You're not.
So
hey, look,
to say like they got to rattle off 2 out of 3 at the end of the season is not correct.
No, I think they got to get at least one of those, though. That's
okay,
kind of where
that's
I'm
fine.
I think they got to get at least one of those.
But at the same time, we can't just sit here and compartmentalize 3 games in the conference play.
What? I feel like you're attacking me. I'm on your side. I want to piece the action and Clemson get it in. I'm with you. I'm in. I'm a Tiger, baby.
About extra opportunities this year for the league it's much different. So to throw that out there is just not right.
Okay, so all right. So then Duke, Louisville, North Carolina, NC State, yes,
Virginia.
You still good with those 4? Still Virginia. In with those.
I would probably slide Virginia up above NC State.
All right, so you're in for those 5. You're in for those 5 ahead of Clemson. I am too. So then we're talking ACC's got to get at least 6 in, maybe 7, in order for Clemson to feel pretty good about it.
I might have Clemson above.
I've said pretty consistently that I think it's a 7 to 8 bid league. Yeah.
I mean, if you get 8 in, you're good. You're good. Clemson's going to be just fine. If it's 6
and
or 7,
I think Clemson and NC State are closer. Clemson and NC State are closer than people realize.
Yes, I agree with that, and I also think that Clemson and I think Miami is right there with those 3 teams. And I don't think Syracuse is all that far behind, and it is a better ACC. Listen, we got to get to a break. On the other side, we're going to talk about UConn. We're going to talk about Florida. We're going to talk about the nightcap of the Jimmy V Classic. The last 3 national champions play tonight. That's next. As you know by now, we have teamed up with BetMGM again this season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we will have special offers for Field of 68 fans, including same-game parlays, best-in-class live betting, and daily odds boost. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code FIELD to get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's how it works. You download the BetMGM app, you sign up using bonus code FIELD, you deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure you use that bonus code FIELD when you sign up. Make this college basketball season one for the history books. Make it legendary. And don't forget, if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code FIELD and get your $1,500 first bet offer today. If you're not a member of the Field of 68's On3 community, make sure to go check us out. Get access to all of Jeff Goodman and Rob Dauster's written content, including coaching carousel breakdowns, info on who is and isn't entering the transfer portal, insider recruiting information from none other than Joe Tipton, X's and O's analysis of all the teams in college basketball, and access to our message board community. A 7-day trial costs you $1. The Field of 68 on 3. Get the scoop. Welcome back to the Tuesday evening edition of the Field of 68 After Dark. I'm live here at Madison Square Garden. T.O. is live in Simpsonville, South Carolina. Jeff Goodman is live in Charleston, South Carolina, and we are here on the Field of 68 After Dark. Number 5, UConn 77. Number 18, Florida 73. Another win for UConn, another close win for UConn, playing in what was essentially a home environment here for them in Madison Square Garden. Goodman, I mean, it feels like this UConn team, they're winning these games. They're getting some of these victories. I don't think they've quite clicked into high gear yet. We're still haven't seen Silas Demery be close to what I think he can be. Terrace Reed still looks like he's playing at about like 75% of full health. What do you make of this win for UConn?
Yeah, and we're not going to see this team probably until January. Really look like the UConn that I think Dan Hurley feels like will have a chance to run through the Big East and be one of the best teams in America. But again, you get a good win against a Florida team that, Xavier and Lee look good tonight. And again, Terrace Reed's still shaking off the rust. Braylon Mullins still kind of finding his way. We thought maybe because he had that huge game that all of a sudden Braylon Mullins was going to do that every single game. Well, that's not going to be the case for him. They need.
It would help if he stopped fouling, Jeff.
That would help. That would help. Get on the court and stay on the court. Demery's the one that still baffles me. I'll give you a quote from somebody in the offseason. Somebody said that Silas Demery was going to be the best portal addition of the offseason. I don't know who the hell that was, but right now they're looking like a complete jackass because
it was at the Final Four.
Look like the best point guard in his own team.
It was at the Final Four, wasn't it? Wasn't it in San Antonio when he went nuts? We did like 3 segments.
It was, but I will say that you misquoted me. I didn't say he would be the best portal addition. I said that he is as good. He's the best fit when it comes to what a team needed and what a player can provide. And I do find that interesting that we're talking about bad takes from a guy that just said Cam Boozer should be the number 6 pick in the NBA draft.
5, and it wasn't my take.
You want to go down that road.
It's not my opinion. It's the opinion of those who I spoke to who have been in the NBA a long time, and they're assistant GMs and GMs. So you can say whatever you want. Not my opinion.
Okay, I can say whatever I want, and you'll just put it out there as a headline. Anyway, I think the issue right now with Silas Demery is that he is having trouble processing where he is supposed to be making his reads, if that makes sense, right? Like there's going to be, you run all this stuff for UConn, and I think Dan said this to us the other night when we had him on. Was it after the Kansas game, where he doesn't know where his eyes are supposed to be yet? And I think his head is spinning a little bit when it comes to picking up this offense. And I think Malachi Smith has figured out where he's supposed to be looking, who he's supposed to be setting up. And I don't think it helps with Silas that I think this was the first night that Solo really got it going from 3 and looked like the Solo ball that we have seen in recent years. Now Alex Caravan is playing better, and Braylon Mullins is back out there, T.O. A point guard's job gets a lot easier when you have your shooters out there and the guys that can make the shots for you.
Yeah, I just can't. I can't emphasize enough, like, eye discipline for a Dan Hurley coach team, like where you're looking and where the next option is, because he will get guys open, but it's for like half a second to where you have to get that ball there to where they can take advantage, because he is so good at orchestrating those things. If that ball doesn't get there right on time, I like what Jeff said about this UConn team. You're going to see the best UConn team. I would even venture to say the beginning of February. Like it might take even a little bit longer, but the good news for them is the Big East hasn't been great. So it's good for UConn to get a couple of wins during the non-conference play. You know, they beat BYU earlier this season. They've been able to get some big wins. I would consider today a good win. I think Florida is good. I don't think Florida is great. They did get beasted on the boards, though. So not necessarily a concern per se, but Florida's huge in the front court. They're going to have to dominate that part of the game in order to stay in against teams that I think are, second weekend in Final Four caliber. If we flip it and we talk about the Gators a little bit, am I crazy to think Lee carries the ball every time he touches it? Does he carry the ball every time he freaking touches it? It's unbelievable.
I kind of think he does too. Before I do want to talk about Florida, because I have a take on that and I think me and you might disagree. Why do you say it's going to take until early February? I want both of your guys' opinion, because both of you are saying it's going to take a while for them to get there. Why is that, T.O.?
I think you need Demery to be good and to know what he's doing for this team to reach its potential, because he's just another big guard that can come in there and defend and muck it up on one end. And then on the offensive end, if he's just a quality piece that he can get it to, that's going to be huge. I think if he's at his best, UConn will be at its best. You look at some of the other pieces today, I thought Ryba played really well. Like he came in there and gave some good minutes. I was a little hesitant as far as I didn't know how tough he would be whenever he came over, whenever he came back from Germany. I saw him play with the national team. I was like, he wants to be tough. You can see some of the things that he does requires a lot of skill, and a lot of that's there. And when I talked to Dan in Switzerland, it was like, well, he wants to be tough. He wants to be coached hard. Man, I think he's coming along nicely. There's a lot of pieces that are going to be better later. And I think if anything that we've learned with Dan Hurley and some of the teams, even his national championship teams, they were good early. They weren't great. But by the time February came around, it was like, oh, boy. So I think Demery has to be a part. I think Ryba has to be a part too. And they're going to be much better later.
Jeff, is that?
Yeah, I mean, he's just had key guys miss time, Rob.
That's huge.
That's the biggest thing. You've had two of your top 4 or 5 players miss significant amount of time. So, I think practice is going to help. I think time off is going to help here over the next few weeks, because this is kind of the time when you're not loading up your schedule during finals in December. You're going to be able to practice a lot. And I think that's when a guy like Dan Hurley has a major advantage, especially now that he's got really his top 9 dudes are all healthy, it looks like.
Yeah, they're getting there. Terrace, I don't think Terrace is back to being himself quite yet, but I think that he will get there eventually. Let's flip it to the Florida side. T.O., here's my take on Florida, right? It's that I think that they are getting more or less what they want out of the players that they have, right? In the sense that what Thomas Hawk is. Like, that dude is a stud, man. Like, I don't know if there's 10 players in college basketball better than him. I don't know if there's 5. I think Alex Condon has figured out how to be able to be who he is without turning the ball over. He had some turnover issues earlier. The stuff that they can do with him and Hawk and Chinyelu, the high-low stuff they run, it's so good. I mean, they're so big and so physical. But they built this team around the idea that they are going to have 2 of the best off-the-dribble guards in college basketball, 2 of the best shot-creating guards in college basketball. And Boogie Fland, I think, is shooting 24% from 3. He had trouble with fouls tonight. He was not the Boogie Fland that we thought he was going to be tonight. Not the Boogie Fland of the second half against Duke. And Xavier Lee scored 19, but he was 5 for 14 from the floor. He was 1 for 7 from 3. It was an inefficient 19, 6, and 5. And I think the biggest issue right now is that those guys, they're not just missing shots. Like, Boogie Fland threw one off the backboard. He had an air ball. Xavier Lee had 2 or 3 where like it got stuck in the corner of the rim in the side of the backboard. Like I feel like those guys are getting the shots the staff wants them to get, but there is just it's between the ears. It's in their head. I don't think Xavier Lee is this bad of a shooter. I think he thinks he's this bad of a shooter, and the confidence is in the toilet right now.
No, there's only one guy who can shoot it on this team, right? The Klavzar is the only one who can really shoot it, that you trust to shoot it right now. Those two guards have been up and down. Like that's the hardest part, right? If you're a coach like Todd Golden, what did you have last year? You had guards, you knew what you were going to get every single night. All three of them, not one of them, all three of them, you knew what you're going to get out of Clayton, Elijah, and Will. And now you don't have anybody. You know, both those guys, you really have no idea what you're going to get night to night. And they don't have.
And here's the thing, but here's the thing about it. Like, we can say that, like, their guards are probably playing at about like 40% of what they should be, right? About 40% of how good I think they are. I think Xavier Lee should be a 35% three-point shooter with the shots that he's taking, and he's at like 18 or 19% right now. Boogie Flan should be about the same, and he's below 25%. And they lost to Arizona by 6 on what was essentially a road game in Las Vegas, right? They lost to TCU by 4, which is not the greatest loss, but TCU's look good in flashes here. They were apparently the only team that can stay within 35 points of Michigan. They lose to Duke in Cameron in a game where Duke had to make a 3 with like 3 seconds left to be able to win it. And then you go to Madison Square Garden in what was a road game essentially against UConn, and you lose by, you come back, you're up late in the second half and you lose by 4. I think that this is a team where if those guards can figure it out, that's a big if, T.O., a massive if. But if they do figure it out, I don't think I want to play this team in March.
Rob Dauster's huge on moral victories. Huge on moral victories. And hey, look, I've been hesitant on Xavier Lee. You know, the thing that scares me is about this Florida team. When Xavier Lee's hot, his points are so loud that, like, are the way you're getting these buckets sustainable? And I'm going to say no. Like that's the big thing. Like, he takes a lot of hard shots, and sometimes he hits some. Sometimes he gets around, he gets hot. But the problem is he hits some. He's about to take 4 more difficult ones. So, like, he was 5 of 14 today, 1 of 7. You talk about Klavzar being the best shooter on the team. He didn't take a 3 tonight. So, like, I don't know. I don't know about this Florida team. Like, guards win. That bottom line, you got to have them. They don't, like, you have to have bigs, don't get me wrong. But if you don't have guards to go along with them, you're out in the middle of the lake on a nice boat with no way to get around. So
they'd love to trade a big for another guard, right? I mean, think about that. If they could trade, they have too many bigs. If they could trade one of those bigs for another, for a wing scorer or another guard, or true point. I just don't know if Xavier Lee's good enough. I don't.
That's Jeff. To be honest with you, that's where I've been. That's where I've been with him too. I just don't know that he's so erratic. And it's almost like he'd be better at all.
Final Four. Like, they're good enough. Listen, Rob, you went through it. And, yes, they're not getting blown out by teams. They're hanging with Duke, obviously, at Duke, and making a run at the end to get back in that game and take the lead late. So they're not that far off. But I don't think, like Tio is saying, I don't think those guards are consistent enough to even put together 4. I don't have confidence that they can put together 4 straight wins. I don't. I don't think they're a Final Four contender right now because of their inconsistency. Because, again, I trust their front court. Those guys know what they're doing. They've done it before. They know their roles. But the guards, yeah, they're too up and down for me.
Yeah, look. I just think it's impossible to win anything when your 2 best backcourt players are both shooting about as bad as they've ever shot from beyond the arc. And I think that there's eventually going to be regression. I think you're right about Xavier Lee. I just don't think he's as bad as we've seen. And if he gets to the point where he's shooting 33% from 3 the rest of the year instead of 18% from 3, with the way that this front court is playing, I think that is a team that can win a bunch of games. So you got 4 coming up here.
Ass off tonight too, though. UConn guarded. Like, UConn really defended. And, the biggest thing with Boogie Flan is, like, he is shifty off the dribble, but if you're not giving him any like any closeout, if you're not giving him anything on the perimeter with a little bit of daylight to make something happen, and he's having to do it from scratch every single time, that's freaking hard. And I give that credit to UConn because I thought they really defended today. So, yeah, Florida, I'm hesitant there. Like, I think Chinyelu is awesome. I'm a big fan of his. I'm not sure how much game he has, but the dude plays as hard as ever, and he looks like Zeus. How about Chinyelu and Keita standing right beside each other? Dude, those dudes are huge. They'd be like American gladiators.
They really are. And they're not just big. They look like they have like never spent a day outside of the weight room, right? Like all they do is just sit there and do bicep curls every day. Keita, by the way, like he's kind of on my shit list today. Can we just talk about this for a second? He dunked so hard and swung on the rim that he broke the rim. Part of the reason why we're sitting here at 12:20 and we still have about 30 minutes left of the show instead of having like 10 minutes left of the show is because he broke the friggin' rim for swinging on it. And when he swung on the rim, he kicked RJ Godfrey in the head. Like, come on, Keita. You're on my list now. You're on my shit list.
There you go.
There was a lot of other stuff that happened tonight. Illinois got a big win. Lamar Wilkerson went absolutely bonkers. And I have a big question I'm going to ask you guys. Will Michigan ever lose again? That's coming up next. As you know by now, we have teamed up with BetMGM again this season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we will have special offers for Field of 68 fans, including same-game parlays, best-in-class live betting, and daily odds boost. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code FIELD to get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's how it works. You download the BetMGM app. You sign up using bonus code FIELD. You deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure you use that bonus code FIELD when you sign up. Make this college basketball season one for the history books. Make it legendary. And don't forget, if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code FIELD and get your $1,500 first bet offer today.
Are you trying to follow everything happening in college basketball? It can be overwhelming. That's where the Field of 68 Daily comes into play. The Daily is your go-to source for recruiting news, game analysis, portal updates, and much, much more. For just $50 a year, you get access to the same information that your favorite coaching staff is subscribed to. Quality content can be hard to find in the college basketball space. The Daily is here to help. Make sure you subscribe today.
Well, welcome back to the Field of 68 After Dark. I'm live here at the Garden. This is Rob Dauster. I got Jeff Goodman with me. I got Terrence Oglesby with me, who's hanging out with us despite the fact that he's a little tired from coaching the Simpsonville Hornets to a 42-5 victory today. So, T.O., I appreciate you being able here to hang out. I know that the press that you had to do afterwards and the interviews that you had to do afterwards and the press conference, it just can kind of take a lot out of you for 10U travel basketball.
I did see our guy Quentin Farrell, though. I did see our guy Quentin Farrell, who played right after us. So there you go.
Is he coaching Presbyterian and his son's team?
No, he doesn't coach his son's team. He's over there close to the bench, but he doesn't coach him.
Yeah,
he's the all good guy team, Quentin Farrell.
Yeah, I'm a big Quentin Farrell guy. Let's start with Illinois here, because Illinois started their Big Ten campaign by going on the road and beating Ohio State on a night where Bruce Thornton turned into Steph Curry. Bruce Thornton at 24 in the first half, 9 for 9, 6 for 6 from three, finished with 34 points. But the Illini behind 23 from Keaton Wagler, 23 and 5 assists, 22 points, 9 boards from David Mirkovic, was able to win 88-80. Guys, it feels like, T.O., we spend so much time talking about the two schools from Michigan and Purdue that we kind of gloss over the fact that this Illinois team, I can't quit them. I don't know why. Maybe it's because they have all of these guys from the Balkans and it's so much fun to say their names. Maybe it's because
I was about to compliment you on how you're knocking out these Slavic names, man. You're crushing.
Wait, did he get the first name of Mirkovic right?
Yeah, Mirkovic.
Yeah,
it's not Mirkovic. It's Mirkovic.
The first name. Is his first name just David? You called him
David
David.
Mirkovic.
You said
David
David.
Mirkovic.
He screwed it up, T.O. Back me up here.
Oh, okay. I take it back.
All right. Anyway.
He's so shook. He's so shook. Right? He just completely threw him off his game. You were nailing it, man. You were nailing it. Hey, don't let the haters in. Don't you dare let the haters in, Dauster.
No, I'm not. T.O., talk to me about Illinois. Fuck both of you.
I tell you what, they get to the free throw line on the road, 29-32 from the charity stripe. My God. No, I think not only some of those guys, Stojakovic playing well, he's still not shooting a great ball, but like 17 points, Mirkovic, your main man, 22. Wagler's been the surprise. There were whispers coming out of Champaign. There were whispers coming out of the Athletic that this guy was really, really good, and he'd been kind of overlooked, if you will. So Wagler has definitely lived up to that prediction from our guy, CJ Moore. On the other side, I feel kind of bad for my main man, Thornton. Bruce Thornton, man, he's awesome. And he went 34 points tonight on 13 of 17 shooting. Guys, I don't have his numbers right in front of me, but whenever I did their game against Pitt, his numbers were astoundingly good. Not kind of good, yes. Astoundingly good. And like 6 of 9 from 3 tonight, 6 boards, 6 assists. Like if he doesn't latch onto an NBA TV, sorry.
Let me talk to this. 20. He's averaging right now before tonight, before the 34 points that he had tonight. He was averaging 20 points, 5 boards, 4.5 steals, with shooting splits of, listen to this, 60% from the floor, 53% from 3, 86% from the line. That's just freaking stupid, man.
If Ohio State finds a way to be a tournament team, that's All-America type numbers. I don't know that they're going to be able to.
That's the issue, though. Like, that's the thing that's kind of been what's held Bruce back at this point, right? Like, he's had great numbers throughout his career. Last year, he was 17, 3.5 boards, 4.5 assists with 50, 42, 86 splits. Problem is, they don't win. Can you win with Bruce Thornton? Is he an empty calories guy? That's been the knock on him, and that was kind of
I would typically be with you on that argument, but when your percentages are that freaking good, it ain't because of you. And it's not like he's hanging onto the ball too long.
Last year he had no bigs. Last year they had nothing up front. And this year at least they got Christoph Tilley, who was good early in this game. And then they kind of took him out of the game. Illinois actually was pretty good defensively in the second half. And but to me, what blew me away was watching this team and watching these freshmen, right? Wagler and Mirkovic. And they don't play like freshmen at all. At all. Like, it's crazy. Like,
well, it's because Mirkovic is like 30 years old. They're no longer diaper dandies. They're no longer diaper dandies.
He's the younger one.
They're no longer diaper dandies. They're depends dandies. I heard that from the coach I talked to recently. That's where we're at. Are you trying
to tell me Mirkovic isn't really 18 or whatever they're saying he is?
You know what I mean. There's a few of them like that now. There's a few of them like that.
He's not one of them. He's
actually not T.O., you can't make depends jokes around Goodman because he just had to start using them.
He just swapped his boys out.
Anyway, these young guys are really good. Is all I'm saying. They're really good, and they're mature. They like, you look at Wagler and like he doesn't get sped up at all. And tonight, like he can score it, he can pass it. He's going to be I'm going to assume he'll stick around another year, I would think. But this is a guy that wasn't even in the top 100. He wasn't even in the top 100, I think, is coming out of high school. And
I know that's the shocking part about it. But then as we got closer and closer to the season, I kept hearing like Wagler is crushing it. And I'm not quite sure what that was, what's kind of changed or what was missed. But man, he's been really good.
He didn't play on a circuit. Like he just played on a local AAU team. And I think it was, I might be wrong here, and if I'm wrong, then CJ Moore can cuss me out and tell me that I was wrong. But I believe that it was like Colorado State was in there and thought that they were going to get his commitment, and then Illinois was like, "Hey, you know what? This guy looks actually pretty good." And once Illinois got the offer, he got it. You got to think he's a Kansas City kid. I feel like Kansas could probably use a dude like that at this point right now, and you got to be sitting there saying, "Hey, man, maybe I missed on that one."
You don't think Kansas State could use him? I mean,
Kansas State will overpay for somebody. They'll overpay for somebody.
I would have overpaid for him. Tell you that
Yes,
right now.
they will.
Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
and
All right,
Boswell
let's,
did
It goes back to another thing too. Like, we've lost a little bit of an element of like trust your eyes. And like, there's not many secrets left, guys. There's really not. Like, you go back 40 years, you'd find dudes playing outside. He'd be 7 foot, and he'd be like, "Where are you playing school? Where are you going to school at?" And then that doesn't have. There's not many secrets, but good for them for like trusting their eyes and be like, I think we have something here. And obviously that one's paid off. But no, you look at Illinois, they're huge. One, two, they broke the guitar that they were awarded after the last one. Did you guys see that video?
Yes,
it was incredible. And three, because they're so physical, they get to the free throw line more. The team that initiates the contact first usually is not the team that gets the foul call. There's a video going around right now with Iman Shumpert talking about as long as you're engaged the entire possession, you're much less likely to get a foul call. I feel like Illinois exhibits that quality every single time down the floor because they're constantly physical and constantly probing you.
Yep. Pause. Can we get Michigan? Let's go to the Michigan game here. Because they blew out Villanova again. And it felt like this was actually close. It felt like
what are we pausing?
not, he's constantly probing you.
I don't know.
I'm a mess. No, I am not.
Got to get out of the garden.
Yeah, I got to get out of the garden.
Real quick before we move on. Ohio State, I spoke incorrectly. They have one bad loss against Pittsburgh. They've only lost two. So they're still very much in the picture. So I need to correct myself there. I actually think Debo's doing a pretty good job this year. Yeah. He's got a roster that fits him a little bit better. I want to correct myself before we move on there. So Ohio State very much in the mix.
Yep. All right, Michigan. They beat Villanova 89-61. Is this just going to be what it is for the rest of the year, T.O.? Are they just going to beat everybody by 50 points? Is this just the inevitability of Boulder rolling downhill that they're just going to go and beat everybody by 20 and win the national championship? Because that's kind of what it feels like right now.
They're huge and they guard, man. My God. What was the combined win total of the last 5 or 6 games since San Diego? It's like 160 points.
Yep.
They're huge. They figured it out. They have their spacing. Oh my God. And here's the thing. Here's the crazier part about the whole thing. They have all that size at the 3-4-5 of Morez Johnson at 6. He's listed 6'9". That dude's every bit of 6'10". I saw him in person. He is huge. A Daimara who's 7'3", and then you have Yaxel Lindeborg who's 6'9", 240. And here's the kicker. They're playing in the 11th fastest tempo in the country. So not only are they massive, they're moving. And I don't know how you do it when you have that defense playing at that level, allowing less than 38% inside the 3-point line. You can't score on them. You just got to shoot it from 3 and pray. That's how good Michigan's been.
And not only are they huge, and not only are they playing fast, they take 44% of their field goals from 3, and they shoot 36% from 3. Like, what are you going to do? If they're making all those, what are you going to do with that? What do you do? I'm serious. Like, what do you do? How do you beat them? What do you do?
They're
so good. You outscore them. Like, you're not going to be able to. Like, I don't know. Like, you just got to be able to shoot it over the top. Like, we could have a one-off where a team can, hit 20 threes, 20, 25 threes. I still don't know if you beat them. That's how good they've been now. Something will happen, but that's how good they've been now.
Yeah, I agree with Tio. I think something will happen. They'll lose their mojo. They'll let up on the gas a little bit here and lose one they shouldn't, because I don't know if you have their schedule in front of you right now, Rob, but we've looked at it and it is underwhelming to say the least for the next month. I don't know where they lose. Like, the next game that at Michigan on January 30th, like before that, they're not. Indiana's not beating them. They can't play themselves, Rob. Are they playing at Washington?
Yeah, that's true. They can't play themselves, Rob. Somebody's got to lose if they're playing inter-squad scrimmage, Rob.
No, they're at Michigan State, dude. At Michigan State on January 30th.
Michigan State, January 30th.
Yeah.
But
that could be
point, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every generally.
Yeah, projected to win at Purdue, beat Duke on a neutral.
They're going to be in every game because of their defense. But again, are they going to be able to shoot the ball like they've shot it consistently? That was our big worry going into the year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And McKinney's been really good. The Axel shot it well. Elliot Cadeau, I think, what did he make tonight? He make like 4 of 8.
He's shooting 40%. He's shooting 40% from 3. And he's taking 4.5 a game.
I just think they're so connected now is the biggest thing when I'm watching them out in Vegas. Like, they are so connected. They don't care who scores. They move the ball. As I've said, offensively, they've got 3 guys that are elite at their position at passing the ball. So that's why the offense kind of clicks at this point. Their unselfishness, their ability to pass the ball, their ability to get a guy like Elliot Cadeau, open shot after open shot, that helps. But it's the defense. Their defense is ridiculous right now. And with that size, to be able to switch everything and still people can't exploit it. Like, nobody can exploit their defense right now. You should be able to with Mara, with Merez Johnson, with Yaxel at the 3, 4, and 5, and nobody can.
But the problem is, like, Yaxel and Merez Johnson can both get out there and guard on the perimeter. And
not a problem.
Yeah, well, that's why the problem. Well, the problem with exploiting it is, like, how do you? Those guys can guard point guards, and you have a Dybantsa at the rim.
That's the difference.
Yeah, and the Dybantsa is at the rim. So even if they go by you, you still got to go deal with a 7'3" Spanish tree at the rim. And those guys are athletic enough. If you get by them, they can still chase you down and get a block from behind. Like, I don't know, man.
And Mara can move now. Mara can move now. That's a big difference. He couldn't when you watched him before. Like, he just looks much more agile and mobile than he did last year or the year before.
Yep. All right, we got about 5 minutes left in this show here.
The Spanish
so before we get out of here,
the Spanish.
I think we should devote all 5 minutes to the Indiana Hoosiers. I think all.
No, we'll do that in a
minutes.
second. Before we do, I thought. All right, go ahead. If you want to talk about go ahead. Let's talk about the Indiana Hoosiers. Lamar Wilkerson had 44 points. He looked like a young Terrence Oglesby out there. 44 points in 23 minutes in a Big Ten game. This wasn't even a bye game. They played Penn State.
They destroyed Penn State.
He set a record.
And against Louisville and Indy, and they looked very, very mid. And they came out today and they absolutely crushed Penn State pretty much from the start. Early on, neither team could score, but then Indiana got going, pulled away, and Lamar Wilkerson, who we've said is a top 10 shooter in college basketball, proved it today. He set the Indiana record, which is kind of crazy. I mean, think about all the great shooters that have played in that program over the course of its history. And Lamar Wilkerson, in his 10th game, just set the record and made 10 threes against, like you said, a Big Ten opponent. Not a top-tier Big Ten opponent, but still, it wasn't a bye game. And he hit 10 threes tonight and went for 40-plus. I still think there's flaws with the team.
They did play a bye game at New Haven this year, so maybe it was like borderline bye game.
Oh, they did. I remember that. That was pretty cool.
That's true. I still don't know.
I want this same narrative out there whenever somebody has a massive game against Boston College. It was still an ACC game. It was still Penn State's terrible. Here's the thing. Here's another thing too. They played Louisville. Louisville's the same team as Indiana. They're just a lot better. That's what happened there. They just ran into basically the same style, the same. They're both trying to accomplish the same thing: space, find threes. Indiana orchestrates a little bit more, but they're still looking for the same type of shots. Louisville was just better. But my God, 10 of 15 from 3 as a team, 17 to 31. It's hard to beat teams like that, guys. You give that much, it's hard to beat teams. And at some point, like what do you do if you're Penn State and somebody's hit 10 of 15? He's 16 for 22 from the field. It's a tough night.
Insane. Yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah. Tip your cap to him.
Start throwing a chair at him or something. Tackle him.
Could do that too.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to toasts of the night, and then we can call it a night. Unless T.O., I think your boy Brandon Garrison got benched tonight. You got anything to say about that? You called for it. You said he's got to bench someone. You got to put
He did,
Ashton Wood
and he deserved to be benched. I'm benching 9-year-olds, man. You don't get back on defense and you loaf. I'm benching 9-year-olds. Try me. I'll send you back over there to the other side of the court with your mama. You don't get back on defense. You know what I mean? So that's first and foremost. 42-5, big win, game one. That also, like, I also want to say that I don't wish negative on anybody, but I also think, like, if you're going to be out there and you're going to represent a jersey like Kentucky's, hey man, anything less than 100% is unfreaking acceptable, especially with the paycheck.
You're a pro now. You're a quasi-pro. You're making real money.
Not a quasi-pro. You are a pro. You're a pro.
You're a pro. Right. Okay. Yeah. So you know what? Show some pride. Show some. I was watching Garrison in that game, and I think I put it in the text thread to you guys. Like, I didn't call him out specifically, but I said to you guys, like, and I might have even tweeted it. Like, the effort wasn't there early. He just looks like he's loafing around part of the time. And, like, dude, you can't do that. You've got an opportunity now, by the way, because when Jaden Quintons comes back, you're going to find your ass on the bench if you don't play harder. Because
really strange, because he's never been a big minute, big numbers guy. Like, it's like, I guess some of this, like, McDonald's All-American residue is just kind of lingering, because, like, he's at his best when he's playing freaking hard and he's using his athleticism.
Yes.
And like that's where you're at your best when you play hard. You're not as good when you don't play hard, because those natural physical tools that you have don't shine through if you don't play hard. Drives me nuts. And I'm sure it's driving Mark Pope nuts. Good on him though, because or good on Pope, because this needed to happen. There needed to be a little bit of a wake-up call.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, there's got to be accountability within that locker room.
But hey, like I said, don't wish ill on anybody. But, like, it's you now. It's on you.
I wish ill on Jeff Goodman. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, if Dauster doesn't do a good job hosting, what do we do, Tio? We call him out, say you sucked, and, like, he's got to get better. And, like, his teases tonight,
please put me on the bench.
Sucked. So, like,
please
he's
put me on the
got to
bench.
go to work now. He's got to go to bed tonight, and when he wakes up tomorrow, he's got to work on his teases.
He's going to work on his teases. How about we just settle for Michigan can't play Michigan? We'll just settle for that, Dauster. We'll just settle for that.
Or David Markovich.
Very well done. He's knocking it out. Let's say I got my toast. You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Simpsonville Hornets, baby. We got our first W. Simpsonville Hornets. No, I'm just kidding. Lamar Wilkerson, 44 points. That's a big number. Good on you, man. Way to shoot the rock. Hey, Penn State, wake up a little bit, man. Like, that's crazy. Yeah. If somebody hits 35, you got to start a fight or something. Let my man get 44. That can't happen.
Tio, I'm going to save the moral victory for Dauster and the Clemson Tigers. I'm going with AJ Dybantsa tonight. I'm going with a winning team.
Come on.
I'm going with a winning player from Brockton, Massachusetts. Good old AJ Dybantsa. Hell of a performance tonight, my man.
Yeah, I will. I guess that leaves me with UConn. I'll toast UConn. Another win in the Garden, baby. Stores South. What'd you call it earlier?
You guys are the two biggest homers. It's incredible. like look at Goodman. He's rocking an Indiana shirt.
Actually, no. Here, you want them?
And then I have
toast is
Dauster, who runs the Top Dogs pod, toasting the UConn, trying to get back in the good graces of old Dano. And I'm having to speak ill of the Tigers, and I'm being accused of being a homer. Where are we?
T.O., you want to know who my toast? Want to know who my toast is going to be to? I'm redoing my toast. My toast is to you. You want to know why?
Why is that?
Do you recognize the shirt that I have on right now?
Is that mine?
I'm wearing your shirt.
That is mine. Unreal.
I'm wearing your shirt.
Bum. Let's go to the afters.
We're not doing no afters tonight. No afters tonight. I got to get my ass home. I don't want to fall asleep on the Jersey Turnpike. T.O. looks like he's about to fall asleep on the broadcast, and I'm just I'm tired of Goodman. We were going to do an afters, and then I'm tired of Goodman. So we will see you guys tomorrow. Field of 68 after dark.